Hello, Coach.
Hi,
On
Tim.
Monday, you talked about the things that you had to do with Karloftis, but I'm wondering more about Bell, defending him, and he works a lot underneath, and most of what he gets is after the catch. So, what do you have to do to defend him? Differently, I guess, than like a W receiver that lines up wide. Does a nickel have to chase him, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, he creates issues, right? I mean, if you're playing man to man, his runs after the catch, are deadly. So you have to employ, a variety of looks. You've got to be in some bracket coverage. You've got to be in some, trail coverage. You've got to be able to play some robber. It's really about a variety of different looks. So it really stresses what you do relative to your normal coverages. If you just played him in man, you're gonna obviously be in a very difficult position. So mixing it up, playing some bracket, doubling him, making it difficult for him to know what he's getting, and for the quarterback, especially in third down situations.
John Finneran, you're up next.
Hi, Brian.
Hey,
Wondering if
John.
you could talk to us about the preparation that you've seen from your team this week, the intensity you've had on the practice field. The players talked about it the other day. Was very intense. And also give us an update on the injury situation on your team with Carmody and some of the others.
Yeah, so the first 2 weeks of the season were not a typical in-season, preparation. We were coming off a long camp, with Florida State, and we were really in a maintenance mode relative to that, week leading into Florida State. We had been in a long camp. I wanted to make sure that we didn't have camp legs. So you're not really ramping things up, going into that week. You're trying to manage things. And then we came off the short week going into week 2. So you're really affected for 2 weeks with a Sunday game. And this is really the first week where we're really in the routine. And so we're able to get after it the way we normally do. So, Tuesday and Wednesday were what we're used to in terms of, traditional practices on a week leading into a Saturday game. So it might have felt ramped up to the guys, and I can understand that. But all I was doing was getting us back to where we really should be relative to our preparation. And, I've always believed that, you don't raise your level of competition, you just raise your level of preparation. And we raised our level of preparation this week. As it relates to the injuries, Carmody's making pretty good progress during the week. That'll be a game time decision, and seeing, Jeff will assess who's in a better position. Again, as I mentioned, we're going against one of the best pass rushers in the country. So in some instances, he might be ready, but we've got to be able to evaluate him against one of the best in the country. Other guys that, I don't know that we really had anybody else that was, in that situation. Botello is available, and he will play. And Diggs is available, and he will play.
Eric Hanson, you're up next.
Brian, following up on Botello, what's your expectation for him? And not just this week, but as you go through the season, does he give you some position flexibility? And then also Xavier Watts, I don't think he played as a rover, but played on special teams. How is he adapting and getting to a point where maybe he can help you with some depth?
Yeah. Jordan's a guy that I think can help us, at that Viper position. He brings pass rush ability. I think he brings third down in particular, depth for us in terms of rushing the passer. We were a little thin there, and I think that's going to be really welcomed to our unit. I think when we're talking about Xavier, the game was in a position where we didn't, we thought we'd be able to get him in a limited role. We were still in a situation where we needed to play a multiple call defense, and he wasn't ready to do that. We're getting him closer to that, and we expect him to contribute for us this year on the defensive side of the ball.
Pete Sampson, you're up next.
Brian, and a couple. One, just on Jack Kaiser, I was curious if you could revisit the recruiting process with him, and if you remember anything about going down to Royal Center. And then also on the quarterback situation, we had with Buckner, Cone, and Pine. Like, do the way you divide up reps during the week change because of what you saw last weekend and some of the opportunities that you have with multiple quarterbacks now?
Yeah, I remember going down. We took a helicopter down to see Kaiser. They were. I think they were in the playoffs or deep into the playoffs, or maybe they had lost the first round. I can't remember specifically, but it was it was a quick trip down, certainly, and again, just to have that kind of player in this geographical area, you want to make sure that you're making them feel it, and so getting on a helicopter, making our presence known in the area was really part of the whole process, and wanting him to feel special, and how much we wanted him to come to Notre Dame, because we obviously a great player, but he's such a great fit, great student, so well regarded. So I remember that clearly about the recruitment of him. As it relates to the quarterbacks, all three of them are getting reps. Jack still continues to be the starter, so he's getting the bulk of the reps. But as I think I said this after the game, we'll continue to grow the package for Tyler as it relates to what his skill set is. So that continues to grow, and then Drew needs to get those reps to keep him sharp. So it's a management of those three, and feel very comfortable with it. Don't feel like we're shorting anybody in one particular area.
Patrick Engel, you're up next.
Brian, when you mentioned the possibility of more of a rotation on that interior offensive line, I'm curious what you've seen from guys like Rocco or Christophic or Dirksen, who might be part of that rotation if that's the way you go.
Yeah, I think we have to. I think they're getting so many snaps, and Zeke in particular and Kane, need a blow, and Andrew Christophic is probably the first guy, and then I think Rocco and John, in that order. But I think you'd see probably Andrew as the first man in. And we really like what he's been doing. He's been playing some center, he's been playing some guard, and really like his development. So expect to see him playing some guard, on Saturday.
Len Clark, you're up next.
Brian, what challenges will Plumber present to you defensively? He looks comfortable in the pocket, but they also roll him out.
Well, he's extremely accurate. I think that's probably the most, challenging part. He's extremely accurate. He knows where to go with the football. He's got two outstanding weapons. And look, at the end of the day, he keeps plays alive, and he doesn't take sacks. He gets rid of the football. So, I think, more than anything, you have a pro style quarterback that doesn't make, big mistakes. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't take negative plays, and he's extremely accurate. So that in itself, is probably, the bigger strengths that he brings, and is probably why he's the starter.
All right, final call for questions. Anybody has a question, please raise your hand. Oh, we got one. Tyler Horka, you are next. We got two. Tyler Horka, then Tim O'Malley.
Hey, Brian, I'm just curious how you would assess how the return game has done so far. I know a lot of people were excited about Chris Tyree and what he could do and have a better year than he did last year in that regard, but it seems like we've seen a lot of fair catches, especially on some balls that he could, take and try to get a return?
Yeah, I think I mentioned this in the first game. We lost some key return men to injury. And so I chose to fair catch those balls in lieu of not taking anything less than the 25-yard line on the fair catch. I think we're in a better position going into the Toledo game. And, we want to continue to work towards being a better return team. And I think we will be, because we want to give him a chance to return. And so I think the answer to the question is, once we are able to develop the new personnel on this group, the return team, we'll feel a whole lot better about our chances to be a really solid unit.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Tim O'Malley.
Coach, mine's really quick. We've seen a couple guys out of uniform, and we have assumed that JoJo Johnson and Iquanu are out for the season. Can you just confirm what happened to their injuries?
Yeah, JoJo has an ACL. He'll have surgery, I think, today. He is out for the season. And Osita had did he have surgery? I think he had surgery, Achilles in camp, and he too is out for the season.
All right, thanks, Coach. That's all the time we have.
All right, thank you.